Kia ora, greetings, g'day, hello, welcome back to the channel here on SAS Reality Check. This channel, for those that might be new here, focuses primarily on me giving my take based on some of my lived experience in and around those preparing for especially a service selection, or those that might just be curious about life and things in general with regards to time in the regiment. As much as I think is appropriate to share anyway, hopefully without overstepping any boundaries with regards to things that may negatively impact the unit, because that's not what we're trying to do here, or that's not what I'm trying to do anyway. So anyway, here's another question which I've received. And this person has got here, "G'day Joe, hope you're well." I am, thank you. As I get closer to my selection start date, I'm starting to second guess my programming. I've put in the miles and the hours, but I'm suddenly worried I've over-indexed on strength at the expense of load carriage / speed. Okay, that's interesting. Looking back at your experience, is it common to feel like you've focused on the wrong pillar this close to the day? I'm struggling to trust that my baseline is enough to cover the gaps. Thank you for reading my message. Any guidance would be appreciated. And they sign off. I don't mention anybody's names during these videos. Thank you for the message. Thank you for the query. I've never, to the first part, when you've got looking back at your experience, is it common to feel like you're focused on the wrong pillar this close to the day? I would say no. For me, definitely no. For other people that have been successful in their completion of selection, passing and going on and becoming members, maybe that was normal for them. For me, it wasn't. I don't know of anybody that was second guessing their preparation for selection before they got there. If you're feeling like you've over-indexed, you've got here on strength, so you've focused more on strength rather than load carriage or speed, I personally would say to you and to anybody that's preparing for selection, that's not a good feeling to have. You shouldn't be in that space. Feeling like you've done more strength work than actual time under load, carrying for long distances or for extended periods of time, and doing that back to back continuously, if you haven't prioritized that, in my opinion, in my experience, as a core part or as the main part of your preparation for selection, then you may possibly be underdone. There's no guarantee. Like I'm no fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you that you haven't done enough. Maybe you have. But my experience, you should have prioritized load carriage for longer periods of time, consecutive days, distances, times, etc. So that's my part. And then the second part, did I feel like I'd focus? No, I didn't. I'm struggling to trust that my baseline is enough to cover the gaps. So if you're in that space, a couple of options. One, depending on when your selection is, get on there and get after it and go as hard as you can. And if you get through, if you complete it all, awesome. Congratulations. But if you don't, if you, for whatever reason, say you decide to quit, or say you are removed for being too slow or not covering enough kilometers during the navigation part, which is a critical part, and that's where that load carriage for long periods of time over long distance, undulating terrain, etc., and your navigation skills all comes into play. So if you go on selection and you get removed for not meeting those requirements, then at least you go away with a better understanding of how best to prepare next time when you go on selection, should you choose to go on selection. So if it means that much to you, I'm guessing you would go back on selection. Hopefully that helps. Pretty short and sweet, that one. Is it common to feel like you're focused on the wrong pillar? For me, no, I didn't feel like I focused on the wrong pillar. I felt like I focused on the stuff that I knew would be a large part of the selection, and ultimately what saw me through with regards to my confidence before stepping into selection. I felt confident in my prep, still nervous and anxious about things, as anybody would be, but I felt confident that my preparation was good. I didn't know that it was perfect. I wouldn't even say it was perfect, but I felt like I was on the money with my training and preparation. So I think that's a better space to be going into a selection on, rather than feeling like here you're struggling to trust that your baseline is enough to cover the gaps. It's up to you. You're the one that's going to be going on selection. If you're feeling like that, you either You either withdraw your application and say you want to go on another one, or you bite the bullet, get on the selection and go and learn. Use that, obviously trying to complete to get into the unit, because that's your goal, as you're saying. But rather than potentially not wasting, but rather than not using what you think you've done or how you've done your programming and training and preparation for selection, and without letting that go to waste, so to speak, get on selection and crack on with it and find out. That's what I'll say. So hopefully that helps. If it doesn't, apologies, but that's my SAS reality check with regards to this query that's come through for today. Appreciate anybody's time. Appreciate your time for sending it through, first off, and appreciate anybody's time that's spent here listening to me ramble on and trying to answer these questions as well as I can. So with that being said, the message is always the same. Anybody going through any challenges, difficulties, hard times, heartache, heartbreak, man, keep turning up. Keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Know and trust that things can do and will get better, that the sun will shine again, and that there are better days ahead, and those better days are always closer than you and I think. There is a light at the end of that tunnel. No matter how long, dark, lonely, and miserable it may seem right now, which it may be genuinely, there is a light at the end of that tunnel. Things do get better, I promise you that. So keep going. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.